championships this year. Nebraska, they want to go to a bowl game. They are 1 win away. Perfect weather conditions here in Columbus. 57 degrees. It's nice and cool, folks. Welcome to the Midwest during the best time of the year. Ohio State won the toss, deferred. Nebraska will receive the football. This is a series that dates back to a 1955 meeting here in Columbus. Ohio State leads it 9-1, and they've won the last 7. The last time these two teams met, 2021 in Lincoln. Ohio State won it 26-17. C.J. Stroud had a big game. Threw for 405 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 15 catches, 240 yards. And a score also by Chris Olave. So Will Howard, the Kansas State transfer, who's playing some really good football this season, will wait his turn as Nebraska will get it the first time. That ball keeps blowing off the tee. Somebody's going to have to hold it.
Giving us a pump fake now twice.
I see. Little wind here in Columbus. Rain earlier today, about 10 a.m. Rain came down. So Fielding will send it away. Quentin Ives is the deep man for Nebraska. Buckeyes, Cornhuskers. Here we go from Columbus. And this ball fielded and muffed, covered up at the 9-yard line. Little dangerous action going on there. Ives had to just fall on the football. So that brings on a young man, Dylan Raiola, who last year was playing a high school game this time of year. Now he's playing in front of 100,000 fans at one of the greatest stadiums in the history of college football.
And for the second straight week, he's got to start backed up. This is exactly how they started a week ago against Indiana. They started on their own 1 because of problems with the kickoff return. Another problem here, and they start Gus inside the 10.
First down and 10 of the 9-yard line for Nebraska. And they hand it off on first down. And Dante Dowdell slipping. And he'll lose a couple of yards on the play. Let's take a look at the Cornhuskers on offense.
Third string left tackle, Gunnar Gatula. He's going to have his work cut out for him against that pass rush for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And in the back end, watch out for Ja'Cory Barney. He's a true freshman, lots of talent there. And then Thomas Fedoni, the tight end, number 24. Best game of his year last week against Indiana.
Second down and 12 at the 7. Raiola, sidearm. And he finds Emmett Johnson, gets upfield. Johnson to the 15. A year ago tomorrow, Dylan Raiola led Buford High School to a 51-0 win over Mountain View High School, completing 10 of 12 passes for 201 yards and 4 touchdowns in front of 5,000 fans. Now he's playing in front of 100 plus.
And against a great defense that is hungry and wants to correct the mistakes from a week ago. And you got to pay attention to that pass rush. I know they didn't get to Oregon, Gus, but they are ready to rock today.
Dante Dowdell in the backfield. Third down and 6. Raiola in trouble. Raiola, and he'll be sacked at the 5-yard line. Tyleek Williams getting into the backfield. And Nebraska will have to punt it away, a loss of 8.
Well, here's what Coach was talking about in the pregame show was interior push, and you see a blitz there from Styles, and then there's the push from the interior, and Tyleek Williams is there for the sack. Raiola nowhere to go, and Nebraska is going to have to punt it away, and that's exactly what Ryan Day wanted to see from this defensive front.
Ryan Day spending a lot of time over the last 2 weeks with the defense. Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, with no problem with the head coach sticking his nose in there, and now a shank punt that'll take a bounce and go out of bounds at the Nebraska 35. So Nebraska off to a horrible beginning. 31-yard punt for Buccini. And that'll bring on this Ohio State offense. 2 weeks they've had a chance to plan for this one.
And it brings out Will Howard. Because everyone's going to remember, that last play and not getting down in time and the clock running out. But, boy, up to that point, he had played so well. 339 total yards He's got 19 total touchdowns on the year, and the coaches rave about his ability to process information and what he can handle in the game plan, and they feel very confident with number 18 moving forward.
14 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns for the Kansas State transfer, who throw it on first down, and he throws it out wide to Carnell Tate, and makes a couple of people miss and gets close to that first down marker for the young man from Chicago, Illinois, offensively for the Bucks.
Got a new left tackle. Zen Mahalski is in for the injured Josh Simmons. That is a huge question mark now with number 65 over there on the left side. And then you know the skill position, because this is the best skill position group in America, and they're going to be looking for redemption here today.
After a gain of 8, 2nd and 2 at the 28. Travion Henderson in the backfield. Howard with pressure, and Howard is sacked. Great rush by this Nebraska squad. Jamari Butler, the junior from Mobile, Alabama, with the sack, a loss of 8.
Beautiful job by Butler, and he was working against that new left tackle, Zen Mahalski, and now this defense that was really embarrassed last week against Indiana, they've got to hang their hat on something. They want to hang their hat on stopping the run and being tough, and Matt Rule is going to love the way it started right there with a Butler sack. 3rd
down and 10 at the 36. Nebraska with 2 excellent defensive tackles. Howard over the middle and caught. Not enough for the first down, however. And this ball caught by Emeka Abuka. He gains 9 on 3rd and 10.
You can see this in-breaking route from the outside. It's on time, it's on target, but just a bit short of the chains. Good tackle by the secondary. But as Ryan Day has been all year, and more so than previous years, going to be aggressive here. Keep his offense on the field and go for it on 4th down.
Went for it on 4th down a couple of times against Oregon 2 weeks ago and was successful. Led to 14 points. 4th down and short. Buckeyes need a yard at the 27. Henderson, the lone setback. They give it to him straight ahead. Oh, he might not have got it. Those tackles in the middle came up big. What a stand for Nebraska. M.J. Sherman with great contact. Another look, partner.
I love what they're doing right here. That left side of the defense, they collapse in there. The backers are in. John Bullock, number 5, and the Cornhuskers. Huge 4th down stop offense on the field when we come back to Columbus.
Of Buckeye football. Capacity 102,780. 3rd largest stadium in the U.S. behind Michigan Stadium and Beaver Stadium at Penn State, where the Buckeyes and we will be next week. So Ohio State turns it over on downs. Nebraska with some room. 1st down and 10 for young 19-year-old Dylan Raiola. They throw a screen pass near side and they drop. Intended for Dowdell, took his eyes off the football.
He did, and they had it set up nicely here. Just lofting it right over Jack Sawyer's head, and Dowdell just can't haul it in. Would have had the opportunity for a few yards, although Denzel Burke was closing fast in there from his corner position. And Gus, something pretty cool here. Number 3, Lorenzo Styles is on the field. And that means that this is number 6 on the field as well. Yeah, Sonny is out there. Well, we got brothers on the field for Ohio State. Pretty cool.
Isn't that cool? 2nd and 10 of the 28. Raiola with the handoff straight ahead, nowhere to go. They'll lose a yard as Dowdell fights to try to get back to the line of scrimmage.
You know, and already I've seen a couple of different pressures, and this Ohio State team was not a heavy blitz team prior to today, and I just wondered what we would see in a changeup. What was going to be the response from Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, in terms of their style of play? And already I feel like it's been more aggressive here in the opening 2 series.
3rd down and 11 at the 27-yard line. Dowdell in the backfield with Raiola. Here's Raiola. Winds up, throws the deep ball. Oh, caught at the 41-yard line. What a catch by Isaiah Nair. And Raiola really putting that ball in the bucket.
Perfect throw. Raiola, where only his player can get it.
Uh-oh.
Did he secure that one through the ground? That's going to be close. I don't know if they'll take a look at that again, but I do love the aggressiveness, Gus. This is a team that did not create many explosive plays leading into today, and in particular last week in their blowout loss against Indiana. And they said they wanted to be more aggressive. They're like, listen, we're going to take shots, in particular after what we saw from Ohio State's secondary and Denzel Burke against Oregon, and they attacked number 10 right away with Isaiah Nair. Got away with a little grab of the jersey there, and then he's got to secure that ball. It can move in his hands. It just has to be secure, and I just don't know if it was.
What's the definition of secure
Well,
when you look at a play like that?
I mean,
It looks secure to me.
it looks secure right there, but then right there, is it still in the left hand? I think so, and then it comes out of the left hand. That's a tough look right there.
Mike Pereira joins us now. Mike, what is the definition of secure? And it looks like the ground made that ball start to shake a little bit.
Yeah, Gus, I think that's a great question that you asked. Look, you know, if you lose possession of the ball, that's what's considered not having secured, a possession of it. And to me, when the ball hits the ground here, as you look at the process, the ball seems to be rolling around. Now, we had the Big Ten game last night, and there was a similar type play, which they reversed from a touchdown to incomplete. So if they're going to be consistent in their ruling, you'd have to say that this looks incomplete because the hands do come off.
Man, a great effort. I think it's that left hand. You see right here, the left hand's on it, and then as he rolls over, the left hand comes off of it. I know that's
So close.
and it is, and especially
So nitpicky.
it is. You're right, Gus, and in particular because what a great effort from Nair and a beautiful pass from Raiola. And again,
After
I just love
further
them being
review,
aggressive.
ruling on the field has changed. The receiver did not maintain possession of the ball as the ball hit the turf. It is an incomplete pass. The ball be placed back at the 27-yard line where it's fourth down.
So that will wipe out a 30-yard gain. Thank you very much, Mike. You were correct as well as you were correct, Joel.
Well, Nair can't believe it on the sideline. He's thinking to himself, what do you mean it's incomplete? But Gus, where did they attack? Raiola knew where to attack, and he was attacking Denzel Burke. This was a guy that widely was considered to be someone that was going to be one of the highest draft picks at corner, and they attacked number 10 because of what happened 2 weeks ago against Oregon, giving up all those explosive plays to Evan Stewart.
8 plays of 25 yards or more given up by Ohio State as a team last week. Bushini, last punt, 31 yards. Abuka with the fair catch inside his own 30. 9:33 to go in the first quarter. 45-yard punt coming up. Will the thrill? Will Howard and the Buckeyes on O. The game. Download the Fox Sports app right now and enter for free for a chance to win your share of 5,000 big ones with weekly cash prizes. Welcome back to the Shoe. No score. 9:33 to go. First quarter. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, JT with you. First and 10 at the 28 now for the Bucks. Nebraska defense coming up strong on Ohio State's first series. Buckeyes turning it over on downs. Quinshawn Judkins in the backfield, the Ole Miss transfer. They give it to him, trying to run right, and he is swarmed under. Ty Robinson leading the way. That's a loss of 1, but the guys I like to watch, Ty Robinson, Nash, Hutmaker. These guys can really go big wrestler type football players.
Yeah, that's right. And they are interior players. They were so disappointed with their game plan from a week ago, and they want to make sure that Robinson or Hutmaker are on the interior, there to stop the run on every snap today.
Second and 11. Howard jitterbugging in the backfield. He's got to move, and he can. Slides down at the 30. A gain of 2, and he talked about what happened at Oregon a couple of weeks ago. He thought he had slid down early enough.
Yeah, he really did, and you know, you feel for him in that regard, but right now he's going to have to deal with a tackle that is already struggling, and Zin Mahalski has given up 2 pressures. Butler already has a sack in today's game, and there Howard has to escape before he can release the ball.
Third down and 9 at the 29. Judkins remains in the game. Howard to throw it. Underneath, caught at the line of scrimmage, but it won't be enough for the first down. This time, Jeremiah Smith getting out of bounds, gaining 6, and Ohio State will have to punt it away. So an interesting turn of events, folks, when you watch this game today. As Joel mentioned, the offensive line is different for Ohio State. And that's a big deal with Chip Kelly and the timing of both the pass and the run for this team. Garcia Castaneda is the return man. And he has it at the 18-yard line. Raiola and the Nebraska offense will get another shot. No score from Columbus. And not only does this Ohio State team have the best band in the land, they've got some of the best fans in the land. That guy needs to shave that mustache, I'll tell you that. That's horrible. That's a college mustache. First down and 10 at the 19. And I'm talking.
You just praised their fans.
With my hokey mustache that I'm wearing. Here's a handoff straight ahead, Johnson.
I wasn't going to say
I know. Everybody's been killing me about my mustache. Gain of 5.
Looks good on you.
But not that kid.
That's right. Oh, man.
Talking about a kid, Raiola. You just know things are going to go well for him.
Eventually.
It's great to watch him now at 19, to see him go through his trials and tribulations, take his lumps, endure. Because you know, by the time he leaves, he's going to be great. As Johnson runs it. Dylan Raiola brought here to be the savior, Joe.
Yeah.
5-star recruit. Dad played here. Offensive lineman. Won the Remington Award as well.
A lot of pressure.
Wow.
You know, this Nebraska fan base is one of the great fan bases in America.
How is he doing with it from what you've heard?
I think he's doing really well. And the coaching staff had talked about him stepping up this week after a tough week last week. And doing really well in leadership, holding guys accountable. But now you got to go out there and play well.
Sprints out on 3rd and 3, wants to run it. And he'll pick up the first down on his own using his legs.
I like that, right? How about that answer? And that's something that we don't normally see Raiola do, is use his legs. And he does a nice job as he's rolling outside of the pocket here of just giving a little bit of a pump fake to freeze the defense. Right about there, he just kind of lifts the ball and allows him just to get back inside of Sonny Styles, number 6. And he's able to dive for the line to gain and moves the chains. That's the type of run. I know it's small, but as a young guy, like, everybody on the field and on the sideline is like, all right, that's our guy. Here we go. He's in it. Now we need to be in it. And I got to tell you, Gus, I like him to take a shot here soon.
First down for either team. Here's a quick throw to the near side. Barney. And Barney doesn't go very far. That's because Denzel Burke drops him quickly, loss of 2.
Great job by Burke. So here he is at corner, and this is something that Nebraska has struggled with, is perimeter blocking. Watch Burke get off of the block immediately of Jamal Banks, and he's into the backfield, and he's able to get Barney to the ground. Now, that's something that Nebraska has really lamented over the last couple of weeks as we've talked with them, is that their wide receivers just don't get the blocks necessary to get that perimeter game going.
Denzel Burke against Oregon with 5 tackles. 2nd down and 11. Raiola steps up in the pocket with room. Raiola slides down, and he'll pick up positive yardage once again, this time 4, right in front of Davison Igmanosin.
That time stepping up and away from the rush. And now we get another 3rd down chance. The pass rushers will come on the field for Ohio State. So you've got Kenyatta Jackson, 97 on the field, Caden Curry, along with JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer. And you just wonder, are they going to be aggressive and try to also blitz with this response type of day as opposed to what happened against Oregon?
3rd down and 7 at the 34-yard line. Dowdell in the backfield. Raiola looking, steps up again. Raiola wants to run it, dives forward. I don't know where his knee fell. He's close. Kenyatta Jackson Jr. giving chase. Looks like he may be a tad short. Watch his knee.
Yeah, you're right. Right when his knee hit, he was reaching for that line to gain, but it didn't look like he got all the way there to the 41-yard line. And this is just too short of a field. I feel like you don't want to jumpstart Ohio State's offense for them. Nebraska's defense has played well here early in this game, and I think correctly Matt Rule is going to send his punt team on the field. Nice hustle there from Kenyatta Jackson, coming back off of his pass rush to get Raiola to the ground.
Bushini will punt it away from the 25, and Ennis is the deep man.
Prior to the play clock expiring, timeout Nebraska. Their first of the half.
So Matt Rule will take a timeout. 4th and 2. They're ready to punt when we return. Creating financial security for nearly 160 years. It's been 50 years since Archie Griffin won the first of his 2 Heisman trophies in 1974. He remains the only player to win the trophy twice. In this season's home opener, the school honored the anniversary when he dotted the I. Fourth down and 2 for Nebraska. No score. 3:38 to play in the first quarter. Huskers have to feel good about how they've performed thus far, keeping this game close after last week's disaster in Bloomington. Ball fair caught at the 10. 50-yard punt. Now, here's today's Aflac Trivia question, sponsored by Aflac. Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover with Aflac. All right, who was the last player to be a Heisman finalist the year after winning the award?
Ooh. I think Tebow was, but it might be all the way.
I'm going to give you. I'm going to go with
Matt Leinart was. He's in the building, so I always think of who's in the building. Might be Matt Leinart, it might be Tebow, but then I think Lamar Jackson was also a finalist.
These questions
so that would be
harder and harder.
That would be the last one. I think that's the last one. Lamar Jackson.
I think you got it. How do you get this? Unbelievable. Look at it. Lamar Jackson.
There we go.
Interesting. We're going to have to start putting some money on this for you. Got 3 kids. And here's Henderson breaking it outside. And Travion Henderson makes chicken salad. A 14-yard run after being bottled up in the backfield.
Yeah, good vision there, right, from Travion. Finding his way back to that left side. There wasn't really anything front side as he goes over here, and then watch, he's trying to seek, and then boom, there's the cutback that he's able to get. And Nebraska just can't corral him. He's got so much speed and burst once he gets into the open field.
10 carries, 87 yards. Last game against Oregon. 1st and 10 of the 24. Howard delivers. Near side. Nice catch. Emeka Egbuka just gobbling that ball up. He was well covered by Deshaun Singleton.
Watch him run back down the route tree. So here he comes in motion. Here's Emeka, and he comes and watch, right, he's coming, and then he doesn't stop. See him? He works all the way back, Gus, right back down his route tree. That's the way to keep yourself uncovered. Create space. That's why he's a great wide receiver.
2nd down and 2 at the 32. Here's the run. Henderson, and he'll be dropped for maybe a 6-yard loss. Butler again defensively for the Cornhuskers. Loss, they say, of 5.
Yeah, and here's what's going on right now is that Zen Michalski is just having a really tough day at left tackle, and that's not what you want to see if you're a Buckeye fan. He's trying to get out on the outside, and there is the outside player just in the backfield right away. Oman Mielen, number 18, blows the play up.
Michalski, 4th year in the program, replaces Josh Simmons, who was injured against Oregon. As you mentioned, Joel, 3rd and 6 at the 28. Howard hit as he throws, and a flag on the play. Egbuka, the intended target, but he was held up. Will Howard gets up slowly. Ty Robinson with pressure.
As Emeka is going just right down the seam on this go route. He kind of gets held by Malcolm Hartzoff.
Defense number 7. The ball be placed at the spot on the foul. Includes an automatic. First down.
Boy, Nebraska was after Will Howard. There's your boy Ty Robinson, Gus, but look at all those white jerseys after Will Howard in the backfield. This offensive line for Ohio State so far today here in this first quarter, you're looking at the first 13 minutes of game time, and they just have not played well. Too much pressure on Will Howard, not enough run lanes. So they're trying to find their footing up front and allow these great skill position players the opportunity to showcase their talent.
First down and 10 to the 43. They pitch it to Henderson. Henderson with a lane. Oh, he almost broke one. And he knew it. He'll gain 6. But Deshaun Singleton tripped him up. He had daylight in front of him.
He sure did, and it's just the shoelace right there, and if he gets past that tackle, he is gone, and he knows it. You can tell by the reaction, Gus, exactly as you called it when he got up off the ground. And a little bit of space there in the run game.
10th in Ohio State history in rushing. Next up, Carlos Hyde. 2nd and 4. Howard to the sideline. Nice throw. Good catch out of bounds. G. Scott.
Tell you what's interesting is when I watch film of this team coming into today's ballgame, all these games in sequence, they were really, in terms of a rushing team, they were a dominant left-handed rushing team, meaning over the left side. Josh Simmons, Donovan Jackson over that left side. With Michalski today, he's made so many mistakes already early in this game. I think they're going to have to turn into a right-handed running team, and I think the bulk of their yards will come when they're running off the right side.
First down to the 40-yard line. Howard sets up, throws a deep ball's got a man! Caught! Touchdown! Buckeyes! Carnell Tate, 40 yards.
You've got to read the safety in order to get the post over the top. So as the safety is going to sit right here, and he's going to be watching Abuka, and as soon as he sets, Howard goes up and over the top. He doesn't pay attention to the backside safety. You feel like you can complete that regardless of what he's doing. Tate runs a good route, safety sits, and Howard hits him for the touchdown. Beautiful play there from Howard and Tate.
16th catch of the year, 2nd touchdown for Carnell Tate. And here's a young man that caught 18 balls for 264 yards and a score during his freshman season. That's more than Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr., Curtis Samuel, or Jackson Smith and Jigba had in their freshman seasons. Everybody's talking about young Jeremiah Smith, but Carnell Tate from Chicago, Illinois, can play the game. 6 plays, 91 yards. Buckeyes score in 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Now, while we have a little pause in the action, folks, how about Game 1 of the World Series and how it ended in dramatic fashion last night?
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
Gibby, meet Freddie. Joe Davis, our colleague, what a great call. What an incredible play. Grand Slam World Series. Getting off to a sensational start right here on Fox. And this ball goes into the end zone. First question, who are you going for, Yankees or Dodgers?
Well, I live in California now, so I've got to go with the Dodgers, right? I'm a West Coast guy. I'll go Dodgers. How about you?
I'm from Detroit. I hate the Yankees.
Oh, man.
I love the Yankees, but I hate the Yankees.
I got to tell you, man, these two teams and franchises, you just knew it was going to be a great series. And if this series is anything like Game 1, we are in for a treat, because that was incredible. Theater last night.
First down and 10 to the 25. Got some good theater brewing here. See how the Cornhuskers respond. Dowdell gains 2. And that could take us to the end of the first quarter.
The way that they're just kind of walking back, yeah, it looks like Raiola.
And if you're Nebraska, you want to slow this game down a bit, don't you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, listen, the faster you play, then the more opportunities that Ohio State's going to have, and you don't want that if you're the Cornhuskers. They'll slow it down. Important series here for the young quarterback.
First quarter has come to an end. Back to Columbus after this. All afternoon. here in the Midwest. And the 2014 National Championship team for Ohio State honored before this game. Urban Meyer, their head coach, our colleague, there he is on the left. Shelley, his beautiful wife with him. Michael Bennett, all the stars for Ohio State back then. Cardale Jones. Second down and 8. Raiola scrambling, throws on the move. Caught close to the first down marker. This time, catch made by Barney. Let's go downstairs to Jenny Tabb.
Coach, you told me before the game you wanted to see your guys come out and compete. What did you see from their start?
Well, great job by the defense at the very beginning. You know, offense were settling in. They've done a good job on their bye week. You know, they're showing man, playing zone. Dylan's done a nice job running the football. You know, got the big play overturned, and just gave up the big play. But that's kind of how this game's going to go. You know, we told our guys, like, let's go in, let's weather the storm early, let's hang in there. Some of our young guys made a couple mistakes, settle them down, and we've got 3 quarters left to go play ball.
All right, on first down, another completion, ball squirts out. Nebraska looks like they've jumped on it as Ja'Cory Barney was trying to fight for extra yards after the catch. It squirts out. But fortunately, Ben Scott, their center, pounces on it. And the chains keep moving for Nebraska.
Yeah, what's so fascinating is Ja'Cory Barney is normally catching the ball at or near the line of scrimmage, a lot of times behind the line of scrimmage. Here, it's a downfield route, but as he's fighting for extra yardage, you see the ball pop out right there, and you're right, the hustle of the center, Ben Scott, transferred from Arizona State. Johnny on the spot, and he gets the football.
12-yard gain for Nebraska, first down to the 47. Raiola guns it underneath, that one low. Jamal Banks, the intended receiver.
It's one of the first times that Ohio State has just had a straight 4-man rush. I already see a difference in schematics from what Ohio State is doing in terms of their game plan defensively to rush the quarterback. A lot more twisting with the defensive line, more pressure from the linebackers. Clearly, Jim Knowles and Ryan Day want to force the action and be more aggressive with their defense.
Second down and 10 at the 47. Play fake. Raiola with the fade in the corner. And incomplete. His receiver hadn't turned around. That's Isaiah Nair. Some miscommunication going on. And Matt Rule definitely not happy with the route that Isaiah ran on that play.
Well, here we go with another third down, and so far, here's what we've gotten. We've gotten blitz from Ohio State. Then you get another blitz, and you're going to get the twisting action up front. Then on the last third down, again, it's 4 guys rushing, but what are they doing? They're twisting up front. So everything but straight rush from Ohio State so far on third down.
Third down and 10 of the 47. Dowdell in the backfield. Ohio State showing blitz. They pick it up. Raiola steps away from it. Huge lane. Here comes Dylan Raiola. Here's the sideline. Look at the 19-year-old out of bounds at the 15. Denzel Burke ushering him out of play, but that's a 38-yard gain for the freshman.
They get the blitz here, but everyone runs right by Raiola, and he's able to just step up and get over to the left side. Beautiful job. Man coverage on the back end, and there's no one left for the quarterback. Raiola is not the type of athlete that you're going to have to spy, and so there's no quarterback player, and in that man defense, he's able to just take the seam and get down the field, and another explosive play against this Ohio State defense.
Joel, Raiola runs a little bit better than I thought.
I agree.
He can move. First and 10 at the Ohio State 15. Can Nebraska pay it off? Dowdell, nothing doing this time. Caleb Downs, the Alabama transfer sophomore, loss of 3.
I tell you what, Caleb Downs, here he is as a safety. Watch how fast he triggers into the backfield. This guy diagnoses plays as fast as anybody in college football, and he is a wonderful open field tackler. This is why he was the leading tackler for Alabama as a true freshman a year ago and has transferred in and been just sensational for Ohio State so far.
Had 8 tackles 2 weeks ago against Oregon. #1 player in the portal this past offseason, according to some polls. Second and 13 at the 18. Raiola, this one dialed, and not a lot. As Denzel Burke comes up and makes the tackle, loss of 1. Barney with the reception.
And again, Barney, they're trying to get him the ball at or near the line of scrimmage, but the blocking on the outside just not there. Burke, he beats the wide receiver Jamal Banks, and now another 3rd down.
And this could be 4-down territory for Nebraska. They've had some problems with their kicker this year. 3rd and 14 in the 19. Emmett Johnson in the backfield with Raiola. And a timeout on the play called by the Cornhuskers.
Raiola. Offensively for Ohio State, it was slow, but then Will Howard got it in gear. Big play for a touchdown to Carnell Tate. He's 6 of 6 for 81 yards and a touchdown.
3rd down and 14 at the 19-yard line for Nebraska. Ohio State's defense, 6 tackles for loss already. Raiola drops it off. Johnson, and Johnson will be tackled for another loss. First man to him, Tyleek Williams. A loss of 2.
Well, this is a great game plan because what you're going to get is pressure from the wide side of the field, but then the defensive line looping to the short side of the field. This is going to take up a tendency for Nebraska. Number one, you can create pressure if it's straight drop back, but this is a heavy screen team. They love to throw these screens at the line of scrimmage to their backs, and so why not loop those defensive ends to that short side, and they're right there for the screen.
So John Hull comes in to attempt a 39-yard field goal, got it up, and good. And that is a positive sign for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
You bet. You bet. I tell you exactly.
Last week he did not attempt a field goal.
Matt Rule was holding his breath, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Let me tell you about John Hull, folks. He's replacing Tristan Alvano, who's out with an injury on the season. He came into this game 1 for 5 with a long of 21. That is a big-time confidence booster for this Nebraska squad.
Look at him. He's looking out there like, all right. I love it. I love it. And by the way, it's not just the kicker, Hull. They've been struggling with the snapping as well. They're back to their backup long snapper. So Aiden Flegge, number 94, he gets the snap in there. Their starting snapper, Witucky, he got like the Chuck Knobloch, like the thing, you know, like all of a sudden,
throw it back to first base.
Just couldn't throw it to first base.
Steve Sachs.
And so now all of a sudden Nebraska's kicking game was in shambles. They've had 5 total kicks blocked on the year. So just making that field goal, we're making a big deal out of it. It is a big deal for Nebraska.
Yes, it is. Who would have thunk it? Not Matt Rule. Matt Rule said last week against Indiana, nobody saw that coming. Didn't expect that. But we have to grow from it, build, get back to work, and that's what they've done. 7-3 right now. Our score. 10:21 to go in the second quarter. Nebraska fighting hard. Tomorrow it's a huge day of football on Fox. At 1 Eastern, Jordan Love and the Packers take on the Jaguars. Or at 4 o'clock, Josh Allen and the Bills face Geno Smith and the Seahawks. Check local listings for the game in your area tomorrow on Fox. Geno Smith on the right. Tell you what, folks, we called his games when he was at West Virginia, second-round pick. One thing you could say about Geno during his entire career, professional. He has been a professional.
He has, and you know he's watching. So, Geno, we know you're watching because your cousin is out here as probably the best young college football player I've ever seen. And I know that that's hyperbole, but it's true.
First down at 10 to 25. That's a lot. This is Geno and the youngster, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah Smith does things on film, Gus, that I haven't seen, veteran receivers do. And I can just tell you, like, they're not going to go a whole half without targeting him down the field. So in the next, 9 minutes and 50 seconds, number 4 is going to get a chance for a big play because you just don't allow him to go unspoken for a whole half.
Second down and 6 to 29. They'll run it straight ahead. It's Judkins And let's go downstairs to Jenny Tabb.
And when we sat down with Jeremiah yesterday, we actually asked him, where does your athleticism come from, your speed? He's almost in a league of his own in so many ways. He said, honestly, it's not from my parents. It's not from Gino. We've seen him run. He threw him a little bit under the bus there, but he said ultimately he's learned so much from Gino, his experience, and Gino is his #1 fan, saying, I believe he really has the ability and potential to be the all-time best.
They're down and 1 at the 34. Geno Smith throws to a former Ohio State Buckeye.
Jackson Smith and Jigba up there in Seattle.
They'll run it and pick up the first down.
You know, you wonder. So I go back to that first series, Gus. Remember they went for it on 4th down? They turned around and handed it off, and it's like, why not do this? Will Howard's 235 pounds. And, I mean, they just got 4-5 yards on the quarterback sneak. Now, I know that's 3rd down and 1, and they maybe be ready for it on 4th down, but he's such a big guy. I feel like they should utilize him more in the short yardage.
First down and 10 at the 40. You talked to Chip Kelly yesterday. Did you mention that to him?
No, I didn't. I haven't been given Chip advice.
Howard guns it down the field. Smith! Jeremiah! Touchdown! Buckeyes, 60 yards. And you said he was going to be a big target. He is right now.
So he lines up on the outside, and then watch him just beat everybody to the interior. And folks, watch his speed. He's urgent with his speed, and he's right down the seam. No one can catch him. This is what's so shocking. At 220 pounds, he's faster than everybody on the field. I think that he runs somewhere in the low 4.3s. He's got great ball skills, and that's why Geno Smith is correct. He could be an all-time great.
Ohio State taking a 14-3 lead as they go on a 4-play, 75-yard drive. Buckeyes hit their star receiver and lead Nebraska here in Columbus. Jeremiah Smith with a big-time touchdown, 14-3. He's showing his talent as a freshman. 8th receiving touchdown this season, tying the legend Chris Carter back in 1984. As you compare their numbers in their freshman seasons, Jeremiah right there is going to pass Chris Carter, CC, as we call him. And we're so excited right now, folks. I can't tell you how excited we are, because we have a guy standing right next to us that played at Ohio State. We're going to show you in a second. But he played at Ohio State, and he was pretty good.
He was pretty good. He was pretty good.
He was a running back. They send it away. And this one will not be returned. It is my pleasure and our honor to have the Heisman Trophy winner with us, Eddie George, and the head coach of the Tennessee State.
It's great to see you.
What's going on, man?
The Fox family, you
That's
know?
right. That's right.
We're with this guy here, Joel.
That's right.
Well, it's our year 1. Of
Yes, year 1. We did 2 years together back in the studio.
Yes.
That was so good, man. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed, man.
Good.
I'm on my bye week right now. I had to come up, check out the Buckeyes, and get ready for the final quarter of our season, Tennessee State. So that's it, man. Just enjoying it.
Eddie, you're doing a great job with Tennessee State. You got UT Martin, if I'm not mistaken, next. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yeah, defending OVC Big South champs. And they play Eastern Illinois today, and they're good. We got SEMO to back in. So we got a tough schedule in November, but we're up for the challenge for sure.
So what do you think about your Bucks?
You know, I'm checking this. Actually, this is the first time I had a chance to really watch them because I've been coaching. I caught a little bit of the Oregon game 2 weeks ago, and it was a great game. I mean, listen, to go in that environment, to lose by 1 point, have a chance to win it at the end, that's what you ask for. They stubbed their toe a little early. I think they're going to right the ship and get it right for the back half of the season. I think they'll be in this thing for sure.
2nd down and 8 at the 27-yard line. What's the difference between the teams that you played for here at Ohio State and what you're seeing with the Bucks, with Ryan Day, more of an offensive passing type coach, and college football in general as a head coach?
Well, I'll say this. Coach Chip Kelly came in, I think it's changed the identity a little bit. Years prior, I thought, you know, they were going to really emphasize the passing game. I mean, when you have Stroud and those receivers. I mean, that's what you have to do. But now it kind of harkened back to running the football, dominating the trenches, and that's what I'm kind of seeing this year. With Junkins and Henderson, dominating the ground game. So that's what we're kind of seeing right now.
3rd down and 3 at the 32-yard line and a whistle. We're going to keep you up here for a while. We're going to put you to work. You're not getting out of here easy.
This is my bye week.
A drive-by.
I just came up to say, hey.
No. And Joel is going to pay you when you're done.
That's right.
Man.
That's right. Man, I got to tell you, it was such an honor and a joy to work with Eddie when I first got the opportunity to go in L.A. and work in that studio.
Yes.
And, this is what I've really loved is watching your coaching career take off and the job that you've done at Tennessee State. And, because to me, this sport is still about development. We're seeing that with a young quarterback in Dylan Raiola. And we're seeing that even with a veteran group. This defense has to develop this year after struggling 2 weeks ago against Oregon.
3rd down and 8 at the 27-yard line for Raiola. Empty backfield. 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. Twins at the top. Quick toss. Ohio State smelling it out. Nothing doing. Lloyd with the reception. But Kenyatta Jackson gets there first. And Eddie, that's got a defense you like to see.
Oh, no question. November is all about a couple things. And I told my team this. It's about who's going to dominate the trenches. You play great defense. You run the football well in November. And we're seeing this defense really come to life for Ohio State. I mean, they're starting to play dominant defense, win situational football. And, that's what you got to do.
8th tackle for a loss for the Buckeyes here in the first half with 6 minutes to go. Bushini sends it away. Ibuka fields it on the run at the 35, gets a little bit more running room and keeps moving. Eddie, we're going to keep you here because the offense is coming on the field. Jeremiah Smith, the talented, spectacular freshman, back on the field when we return. Gus Johnson, Joel Flatt in the booth with you, and we've been joined by 1995 Heisman Trophy winner, Ohio State legend Eddie George, as Jeremiah Smith comes back onto the field. Has a reception for a touchdown in his first 7 games. First FBF freshman to ever do so. 1st down and 10 to the 44. Let's see if they keep feeding him. Travion Henderson, the pistol back. Will Howard directs traffic. Play fake. Howard looking for the long ball, checks it down instead, and he's got his tight end, G. Scott. What do you think when you see this Ohio State offense and all these weapons in?
Well, sorry, Eddie.
No, Joe, go ahead. No, Joe, go ahead. Hey, listen, I expect to check at the end of this broadcast. All right? So, listen, I see playmakers. I wish I had some of these guys playing for me.
Bring them down.
Especially the offensive line. I mean, good Lord, it looks beautiful. But the tight ends, Jeremiah Smith is such a freak athlete. Great receiver. Of course, Ohio State's had some in the past, but he can rebound as one of the best ones.
And they'll pitch it. Ohio State picks up 4 yards on the play. You got a new running back coming from Ole Miss, Quinshawn Judkins, and he is a back-to-back 1,000-yard runner coming from Ole Miss. Have you seen him play? What do you think?
I see a little bit of him. He has great contact balance, great vision. He gets downhill right now. They got him in a system where he's running a lot of dual, a lot of power, taking advantage of him, getting to the second level. And I think he's a phenomenal back.
1st down and 10 at the 43. Howard throwing on the move. Nice throw. Great catch. Carnell Tate again, who has a touchdown. But, Eddie, when you look at this offense, what's their weakness? What do you like to see him improve on?
Well, again, I think Howard he has to stretch the field more.
Here's a handoff. Keep it going.
I believe that, he has to be able to stretch the field a little bit more in terms of getting the ball downfield. I don't know if this was his longest pass of the year, going to Jeremiah Smith on the touchdown. I'm not sure if that was the longest touchdown pass.
60 yards.
60 yards, but getting him to stretch the field more. I would say that might be the weakness if I were to look at this point. And that's not a bad weakness to have. I mean, he's clearly a good quarterback, capable, but he's going to have to make some big time plays if Ohio State's going to be a serious contender for the national title.
All right, on second down, here's Howard again. Looking at Howard hit as he throws that ball loose. I don't know if his hand was coming forward. But the Buckeyes say they have the football.
Well, we got pressure again over on that left side of the offensive line. This is in Mahalski. He goes down, and they are just eating him up in the pass rush right now. And Howard can't get
Rolling down the
away.
field is a fumble recovered by the offense. It's third down.
I think that was a fumble. I don't think the hand was going forward. That was Willis McGahee, by the way. We all know his dad. Willis McGahee played for Denver as well as many other teams in the NFL. This is a true freshman from Miami, Willis McGahee, and he comes in, beats Mahalski, and gets to Will Howard. That ball is out, and Donovan Jackson was able to recover it.
So Ohio State threatening. 3rd down and 6 at the 22. Empty backfield for Howard. Howard in trouble. Howard turns a corner, and he's tracked down from behind. Terrific pursuit. M.J. Sherman. And as you mentioned, Joel, this Ohio State offensive line is having some problems.
Yeah, they really are. You're going to get pressure here, and then you're going to get a tight pressure from this left side. So right guard gets beat pretty easily. That's Saraveld. And then Mahalski gives up a little pressure as well, and Will Howard is just trying to run for his life. And you got to credit Nebraska for what they're able to do, and they're playing aggressive. And M.J. Sherman, the transfer from Georgia, he was in there in a hurry.
Jaden Fielding in to attempt a 42-yarder, his first attempt of the day with 2:09 to go. Good snap, clean hold, and he pushed it wide right. Nebraska still in this game. 2:02 to go in the second. 14-3. Ryan Day not pleased. Special teams continuing to be a problem for this Ohio State team.
It looks like it was a good snap and a good hold, and that this kick was just pushed over to the right. Just never hooking back in there, and Ohio State's promising series goes for naught because of poor offensive line play and then poor special teams play. Fielding misses it wide right.
Your thoughts, Eddie?
Yeah, I mean, special teams, you got to be able to, connect that ball, to get that ball right through the uprights. I mean, that's what you're there to do. So Ohio State, a missed opportunity. We'll see if the defense can take care of this sudden change here.
Well, Eddie, thank you so much for joining us, man.
It's an honor.
You know how much we love you.
Love you guys, man.
You're a man.
You guys are the best.
Thank you, man.
Joel,
so good to see you.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Best to your family.
Thank you. You too.
14-3, flag on the play. Eddie George, 1995 Heisman Trophy winner, incredible NFL player. I remember calling the game, Joel, Tennessee and Baltimore. Eddie George.
Pass interference. Defense number 1. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Includes an automatic first down.
Eddie George.
2-minute timeout.
Ray Lewis. Eddie George got knocked out in the game. He went to the sideline. When he woke up, he said, "Who was it? Ray?" And everybody said, "Yep."
The Buckeyes now outscoring the opposition by 206 points this season. Rob Stone here with you. Coming up on the State Farm at halftime, Notre Dame jumped early on Navy, and they're all ranked affair. Can Indiana remain unbeaten? We'll check in on their showdown against Washington. And Ole Miss struggling as of late, losers of 2 of their last 3. Can they get back to their winning ways? The guys will join me at halftime. We'll see you then, boys.
All right, thank you very much, Rob. I tell you, every time I see Rob, man, it looks like he has been lifting up the entire weight room. He's so jacked. That shelf, terrific. 1st and 10 at the 39. Here's a run. And Johnson picks up some great yardage. You have to like the way Nebraska's been competing in this game.
Yeah, there's no doubt. In particular at the line of scrimmage. They're the team that now has popped a run here. Iola has done a nice job with his feet on the ground. But defensively, they're winning the line of scrimmage. Jeremiah Smith has gotten some plays down the field. Carnell Tate got a play down the field. But Ohio State has an inability to run the football right now. Meanwhile, Nebraska, they're running it for 4.5 yards per carry.
14-yard gain on the last play. 1st down to the 47. Raiola underneath on the slant play. He's got his man. Nicely done. Nair finding a soft spot, gains 8.
I think they just need to get more vertical, including in the route structures. Not as much. They throw it too much near or at the line of scrimmage. They need to get down the field.
2nd down and 2. The handoff for the 1st down. And it looks like they have the 1st down. A minute and counting remaining in this first half. 14-3, Nebraska driving.
What's going on here? They didn't get the first down. It wasn't awarded them, and now they haven't taken their last timeout, and they're having to get the big players on the field in order to try to get the first down. A lot of time wasted here, even though they're on the plus side of the 50-yard line.
So they say it's 3rd down and 1 at the 38. First down. Dowdell. Clock will stop. 3-yard gain momentarily. Don't forget Texas Tech TCU coming up next on Fox. And a timeout call by Nebraska. They called their final timeout with 26 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and that's a frustrating sequence for Nebraska because they feel like, Gus, and I know you had it in your call as well, they feel like they got the first down and they've got a clock stoppage and they can just continue on this 2-minute drive. But then when it's not awarded them, the clock is running and they don't want to burn the timeout there. So they have to go big and get that bigger package on the field so that they can then get the first down. Here's that second down play that they didn't get it. And I got to tell you, I felt like they got a terrible spot, and then it was not reviewed. I mean, he's over by a yard and a half, and they spot him short. The clock started to run. That was a major mistake by the officials, and now that's why they had to waste the timeout after they just got the first down in order to try to get the right personnel back on the field.
First down to the 35, 26 seconds left. Twins at the top of your screen. Raiola goes that way, throws it behind his receiver. It's called at the 30. Fedoni will quickly get to the line of scrimmage and spike the football with 15 seconds left.
All right, so Gus, let's talk about that kicking game. We had a long discussion earlier about the kicking game, right? And I'm watching their operation with Hull, John Hull. He's got plenty of leg. The wind is going left to right. So going this direction, I felt like he was maxing out right at about 47, which is about where they're at right now. I feel like they're in field goal range. They'd love to pick up a little bit more. But the crucial part of this
prior
is
to the ball being snapped. Timeout Ohio State. They're first of the half. 30-second timeout.
Is the clock sequence. Without a timeout, Dylan Raiola has to be smart with the football. Number one,
can't take a sack, right?
Sack ends the half. That's exactly right. You can throw it short of the chains. It's just probably not great, and you better know that everybody's got to get up to the line of scrimmage immediately. And, well, you can't really throw it short of the chains because then it'll be 4th down. You can't spike the ball. I'm thinking in my head right now, you would have to run the field goal. So this ball has to go outside of the numbers or past the chains. If he doesn't have it, Gus, he's got to throw it away because, again, the sack would end the half.
Why don't you just kick it right now?
Because I don't feel like he would trust the reins. I'm telling you, it's like right at the outskirts of the range. I feel like they want 5, maybe 6, 7 more yards, which would give them a first down. And then the kicking team has to be ready to run on the field right now, staged on the sideline so that they can run onto the field and kick it.
3rd down and 5. 15 seconds left. Raiola looking. Raiola in the corner. Incomplete. And a flag. Wow. Denzel Burke may be called for pass interference. And that looks like he's inside the 5-yard line.
It's going the other way.
Pass interference. Offense number 18. 15-yard penalty.
Isaiah Nair. Now they're out of field goal range.
Oh, that's a huge mistake by Nair. Both clock and field position. That's not offense. That's not pass interference on either player. That's in. I'm with Matt Rule there. My goodness. Across college football, every single game, and you know what? Football in general, NFL, college, the offensive, defensive pass interference call is just so inconsistent. That is a bad call, and it just took Nebraska out of potential field goal range. That's terrible.
Second charge, team timeout.
I'm sure Ohio State would like to argue the same point 2 weeks ago.
100%. I was just saying, like, that knocked them out of field goal range against Oregon on the offensive pass interference call. Gus, let's go back, though, okay? I'm going to go back. This was 2nd down and short. You called a 1st down, and you were right because he got it by 1.5 yards. And then they didn't give him which is why they had to burn the watch. See the official, he's running up like that. That's 1 yard off. But because of that, the clock didn't stop. They burned all that time, had to use a timeout. Now they get an offensive pass interference call that's like a phantom call. That's rough.
Mike Pereira joins us. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, that whole sequence was so bizarre because I kept seeing the clock run when they had the 1st down. I think the official actually got confused with who had the ball. It wasn't where he spotted it. And then replay should have noted this to stop that and make this correction. It's just a bizarre sequence here.
3rd down and 20 at the 45. 9 seconds left. Raiola to the sideline. And that looks like a 1st down for Fedoni as he gets out of bounds with 5 seconds to go. And it looks like they're going to bring the field goal unit on the field. John Hole, good today from 39 yards. And let's see where they spot this one. This one will be from 56 yards away. He came into this game 1 of 5. He's the backup kicker.
Ohio State should have someone back here just in case that this is short. They should have someone back to try to return this kick.
From 50, Hole. Got it! Woo! John Hole, pure. And Nebraska will take the 3. 14-6 the score at halftime. As you mentioned, he's got plenty of legs.
He had the leg. I tell you, what a kick from John Hole, a guy who is a Lincoln native, now kicking for his hometown team, and Matt Rule loving life. Dylan Raiola knows that sequence should have ended in 3, and now it did end in 3 because of John Hole.
Halftime, Nebraska right in this game, 14-6. Don't forget, after the break, join Rob and the boys with the State Farm Halftime Show right here from the world-famous Ohio Stadium.
That, and then the big 54-yarder right before the end of the half. And that takes us to our first half check-in, sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. You look at those total yards. Ohio State got them with chunk plays, 8.6 yards per play, but they have not done a lot on the ground. Meanwhile, Nebraska just methodical, hanging around, and Dylan Raiola making some plays there late to drive down and get 3 points.
Buckeyes will get the football to start the second half. And we're underway from Columbus, 14-6. And Ohio State will run it. Innes runs into a pile at the 20 and goes backwards. Let's go downstairs and check in with Jen.
Well, Gus, I asked Coach Day specifically about the O-line, about Maholski, what he needed to see, and he actually paused for a second, and his answer was, we need to find a way to run the football. That's what he wanted to talk about. He also complimented their big plays. Their defense has been much better. He likes those 7 tackles for loss, and he said, we're playing better football, especially on 3rd down. Coach Rule fired up coming out in the second half. He said Dylan Raiola is competing. He's finding a rhythm. Obviously, a little frustrated with the officiating, telling me, I'm going to let you guys talk about it because I'm not happy with what I'm seeing.
And we were talking about it. In that sequence, I'm glad that they were able to still get the 3 points.
They'll run it on 1st down, Quinshawn Judkins. And Coach Day saying we need to run the football. When you have 2 special backs like Judkins and Henderson, you have to figure out a way to find some opening space for it.
Yeah, that's right. And it falls on the 5 guys up front. Because here's what I know. Chip Kelly and his scheme running the football, the scheme is correct. These 2 backs are 2 of the best backs in America. The backs are not the issue. Their vision is not the problem, their explosiveness. The issue lies in those 5 guys up front. They have got to start opening up these run holes for these backs.
2nd down and 8 at the 21. Howard goes through his progressions, pulls it down, throws on the move. Caught. Jeremiah Smith out of bounds, short of the 1st down. He gains 5.
Watch again, Gus, the pressure. You know, this is going to be Ty Robinson, one of the better defensive tackles in America as far as creating pressure, but he just gets right by Donovan Jackson. So whether it's run game or pass game, so far today for Ohio State. They're up 14-6, but it hasn't been pretty, and the culprit has been the offensive line. This group has got to play better.
3rd down and 3 at the 26. Howard with time, up high, incomplete. Jeremiah Smith, the reception. Don't think he got a foot in bounds. That's Howard's first incompletion today. And Ohio State 3 and out.
Nice, solid series there to open the half for the Nebraska defense. Howard has been so efficient. Like you said, first incompletion. He's been rock solid, but that time defense doing a good job getting off the field.
Joe McGuire will punt it away from the 11. Garcia Castaneda, the return man, lets it take a bounce. And it will bounce inside the Nebraska 15. And that's where they will start, a 61-yard punt. Dylan Day is 4th-ranked Ohio State squares off against 3rd-ranked Penn State in one of the biggest games of the year. It all starts at 10 a.m. Eastern. The big noon kickoff live from Happy Valley, followed by Ohio State, Penn State at noon, only on Fox. But keep an eye on Penn State and their game against Wisconsin tonight from Camp Randall, folks, 7 o'clock NBC. Wisconsin playing a lot better football than Penn State right now. Going through some turmoil with their program.
Well, and maybe looking ahead to next week, and maybe that's happening a little bit with parts of this Ohio State team. You know, looking for that Ohio State-Penn State matchup in Happy Valley next week. You know, in this game, though, this is an opportunity for Nebraska, obviously. You're now in a one possession game. You're coming out of halftime. You've got the ability to watch the iPad at half. It's got to be your best stuff here as a play caller.
On 2nd and 8, here's some good stuff here with the running lane, and it is Barney with a burst of speed, gets close to that 30-yard line. What does your best stuff mean?
You've got to look at that iPad. Remember, they've got the video. You can see all the formations. You can see what went on in the first half. And you've got to understand what structures gave us the best opportunity to have success. That's number one. Then, Gus, it comes to concepts. You marry those structures with the concepts that gave you some opportunity to move the ball down the field, and you've got to convict yourself to be aggressive. I think Marcus Satterfield, the offensive coordinator, has got to be aggressive right now.
Play fake. Raiola sets up, fires, and incomplete. Had a receiver for a moment. Jamal Banks couldn't hold on to it, and that ball broken up for Ohio State by Jalen McClain.
Yeah, and there's the linebacker. You're trying to throw the football over the linebacker and kind of layer it in the middle of that and in front of the safety. But a great job by McClain. He's a young guy that they think very highly of, just a true freshman, and he's able to break on the ball and knock it away from Banks.
From Warway, New Jersey, Seton Hall Prep. Here's a handoff and a lane again for Nebraska. Dante Dowdell. And he'll gain 14 on 2nd and 10. Now that defensive line for Ohio State showing some holes.
Yeah, and they tried to blitz again, and they were just out of position, and now that offensive line getting it going a little bit. Now you look up, and Nebraska has 88 yards rushing, Gus, on only 19 attempts. That's 4.5 per carry. They're doing a nice job.
1st down at the 43. Another handoff, another huge hole, Dowdell. And he'll get to the Ohio State 45. Caleb Downs with the tackle. So a gain of 14, 14, and 12 in the last 3 plays.
I'll tell you, Oregon found some running room against this Ohio State team, and now Nebraska is finding some room. Missed tackle there at the 2nd level, and again, Downs for the 2nd straight play has to save an explosive run by just getting downhill and making that play.
1st and 10 at the 45 for Nebraska. Emmett Johnson in the backfield. EJ, no, play fake, caught on the sideline, flag on the play. Let's see. Banks with the reception.
It's a great job by Banks.
Pass interference. Defense number 1. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
That's Igmanosin. Right now, Nebraska just driving it right down the field on Ohio State with the ball. at the 33-yard line. First down and 10. They've got a hot field goal kicker, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Harburg in the game at quarterback.
Harburg's in the game at quarterback. Raiola as well. And in the slot, that's Jalen Lloyd. He's the fastest player on the field.
He'll sprint out, looking, takes his time, throws sideline and out of bounds.
You know, I just try to notice when 19 runs on the field because Jalen Lloyd actually runs on the Nebraska track team as well. Now, this guy, you take a look, he's a 4-time state track and field champ, long jump, triple jump, 100-meter, 19. He's going to run off the field right there, but you got to be aware when he's on the field because that dude can run.
Second down and 10 of the 33. Dowdell back in the backfield. Raiola, little toss over the top, caught, and that's Barner. Janarin Bonner gains 4 the hard way. A lot of hard hitting going on. Cody Simon defensively for the Buckeyes. That brings up third down and a big one.
Well, if Ohio State leaves man coverage on the outside, one-on-ones, I think Nebraska should take the one-on-one and go play on the outside, whether it's against Burke or Igbinosun. You take Banks in a matchup, he's at the bottom of your screen, or Nair at the top of your screen, because right now Ohio State has shown that they want to pressure and blitz up front.
Third down and 7 at the 30. Raiola off his back foot, incomplete, and a flag on the play. Igbinosun maybe again near the intended receiver.
This is absolutely pass interference.
Defense number 1. The ball placed in the spot of the foul is an automatic first down.
Penalties have been a problem for Igbinosun all year long. 5 penalties coming into this game, and now already a couple here today, and he's just hands all over Nair. Nair's trying to go back for that back shoulder, and he just rides him out of the back. You can't tackle a wide receiver right there, and so a couple of penalties now on Ohio State, Igbinosun specifically, and Nebraska's in business.
This drive started at the 13-yard line for Nebraska. First down and 10 of the 24. Handoff. Dowdell running downhill. And he'll pick up a chunk. 4 on the play. Stopped by Reese.
Now they actually just took Igbinosun out of the game completely, which means Jermaine Matthews, 24, is going to be in the ball game. Now Igbinosun will come back on the field. Matthews will stay out there. They'll have 3 corners on the field here.
This will be the 10th play of the drive. Started at the 13. Emmett Johnson back in the game at running back. 2nd and 6.
I'll tell you, the way that this structure is built, you know, a run play right over here, I think would work.
There's Raiola running that way. He hesitated. If he would have burst through that hole, you were absolutely right, Joel.
They're looking for the shovel underneath. He's going outside, and then he's got the back underneath. But if he would have just taken off, he could have gotten a lot more yards. Now it's a 3rd and 4 and another opportunity to convert. And again, I would go back to the one-on-ones. The corners for Ohio State have struggled. Last 2 weeks ago with explosive plays, today with pass interference, and you're going to have, again, Nair and Igbinosun locked up in a one-on-one at the top of your screen.
Third down and 4 at the 18-yard line. Here's your matchup. They'll run it and get close to the first down with Emmett Johnson. It'll depend on the spot. And there is a flag on the play.
Illegal shift. Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's Alex Bullock.
Well, here's what happens, Gus. You get the back coming over here, and you get a motion. If 2 guys are moving at the same time, then they have to come to a complete stop before the snap. That's not a full beat. That's why they get the flag. So that's a young quarterback making a mistake with the movement of his offense.
Third down and 9 of the 23. Raiola in trouble. Raiola, and he's swarmed under. Dylan Raiola swarmed under JT Tuimoloau.
Well, you got to block this guy. He's one of the best in America, and the offensive line slides to the left, and Tuimoloau is just left to run free. That's a clear missed assignment up front, and Raiola looked like he was just running for his life there.
So on 4th down, Hull, good from 39 and 54 from 47. Good! John Hull, 1 for 5 coming into this game. He is money, 3 for 3. Hull from 47. Nebraska right in there of the Big Ten Conference. The only time Nebraska has ever beaten Ohio State came in 2011, and they did it in a comeback fashion. The Buckeyes led by 21 in the 3rd quarter when Taylor Martinez and Rex Burkhead led the Cornhuskers to 28 unanswered points and the win. Nebraska is 1 win away from becoming bowl eligible. They haven't been to a bowl game in 7 seasons. Next week they have UCLA at home, a team that's finding their way in the Big Ten as well in their first year. But right now, Matt Rule, after that 56-7 loss last week in Bloomington, he's got this team playing as hard as they could possibly play.
100%, and you got to give him a lot of credit for the way that this group refocused quickly, specifically on defense.
Ennis. And he'll go down at the 20-yard line. So Will Howard comes back on the field for the Buckeyes, trying to get this offense going with some offensive line questions. Back after this. A lot of these young men you're seeing on Saturdays will be playing on Sundays. In this game, 1st and 10 of the 21, Ohio State up 14-9, but in a dogfight. This one in the seam, intercepted. Hartzog with a lane at the 20. Hartzog knocked out of bounds deep in Ohio State territory. Malcolm Hartzog, the junior. But there is a flag.
Flag on the play.
A 34-yard return if it stands.
After the interception and during the return, sideline warning Nebraska. It's their first of the half. There's no yardage penalty involved. 1st down and 10, Nebraska. 1st and goal, Nebraska.
Hartzog does such a good job. Watch, he's going to fall off of the route from the outside. So this is not a player that Will Howard would even normally see on this structure. He sees the safeties down. He's trying to get a Mecca in the slot on that little seam route. And then there's Hartzog, who falls off of Jeremiah Smith on the outside, and he's right there on the overthrow in order to get the pick. How about Tony White doing a great job? The defensive coordinator for this team, they were embarrassed last week, 56 points. They got on our Zoom call this week, Gus, and they said, they apologized profusely. Sorry, guys, that's not us. That's not how we want to play. And they have answered the bell, and they have responded on defense, and now a short field.
3rd interception of the year for Hartzog, and they'll run it with Dowdell. He crosses the line of scrimmage, gains a yard on the play. Malcolm Hartzog Jr. from Silver Creek, Mississippi, making that play, switched from corner to safety this year.
If you're Matt Rule, you do not settle for a field goal, not after your defense just gave you this field position. This is 4-down territory. Obviously, field position would come into sequence if you took a sack here, but if this is inside the 5, I think you've got 3 more plays, and you got to know that as a play caller so you could run the ball a couple more times.
2nd down and goal at the 6. Dowdell, the single setback. Can they get it in? Dowdell, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a half yard, a yard. Now they're saying no gain on the play. Jack Sawyer there defensively.
If you're going to run the ball, it needs to be on the perimeter here. Maybe on one of those jet sweeps, something along those lines. Maybe misdirection. If not, then you've got to put the ball in the hands of Dylan Raiola here and throw it a couple of times. Again, I still love Matt Rule going for it on fourth. You do not want to get this field position and have to kick a field goal and still be behind Ohio State.
Watch for 24, Fedoni. 3rd down and goal at the 6. They run it around the right side with blockers. And Lloyd leans forward to the 1-inch line. A 5-yard gain. That brings up 4th and goal. And yes, they're keeping the offense on the field.
And there's that perimeter run that I was talking about. Getting to the outside of this defense, and then there he is holding on to the ball, Lloyd. And now you're going to have some big bodies in there. Do I see the defensive tackle? That's right. That's Ty Robinson, Gus, number 9 in the game.
Let's see if they let him touch the rock. Robinson lining up as a fullback. 4th and goal at the 1. Can they pay it off? Over the top? No! Ohio State's defense denies. What a play by the Bucks. Who got him? That's number 1, Cody Simon, as long with Igbinosun. Kept him out of the end zone. Nebraska turns it over on downs on the goal line. Hayden McDonald, number 98. He was in the midst of that drill.
Yeah, and Cody Simon also getting to the legs of the ball carrier and not allowing him to go up and over. And Igbinosun was right there. Arvell Reese was right there. Great stop for Ohio State. This defense, 9 points allowed, but they've got those 8 tackles for loss and a big stand there off of a short field, a sudden change after the interception thrown by Will Howard on the previous series.
So Ohio State starts 1st and 10 at their own 1. Judkins in the lineup. Howard with the quarterback sneak, and they'll brotherly shove him to give him a little bit more yardage.
Will Howard on the carry.
Well, now as an offense, your whole job is to try to reestablish field position. I don't know why they spotted that about 2 yards behind where Will Howard went down. Apparently ruling that progress was stopped right there at the 3. But the job of the offense, Gus, right here, get a 1st down, maybe even 2, try to reestablish field position.
2nd down and 8. Judkins. Tackle by Bayer, and that's a 6-yard gain.
And this is one of those kind of nondescript 3rd down plays that becomes vital for field position, because if you're Nebraska, you can still establish a great series. So if you're Tony White, I think this is an opportunity to be aggressive defensively. Blitz in there. Make sure that you're either putting pressure on the passer and Will Howard, or you're trying to create a tackle for loss so you can force a punt from their own end zone.
3rd down and 2 at the 9. Howard to throw it. And incomplete. Ibuka, the target, and now Ohio State has to punt. Do you throw the ball on that play, Joel, or do you run it for, you need 2 yards?
Well, I don't mind throwing the football, but the problem here, Gus, is that the pass protection is just not good. Mahalski is just struggling, and Howard has that one kind of tipped coming out of his hand, and secondary was right there.
McGuire punting about 5 yards deep in his own end zone. Garcia Castaneda, the return man, fields it at the 45, makes one man miss and goes down at the 42. So Nebraska with excellent field position, a 36-yard punt and a 3-yard return. And here comes young Dylan Raiola, 19 years old, playing some good football today.
He really is. And remember, this is the only true freshman quarterback in America that has started every game this season. And let's not forget, Gus, and he was once an Ohio State commit.
Yes,
after his sophomore year in high school. He committed to Ryan Day as one of the top prep quarterbacks in America. He was committed for about, 7-8 months before he reopened his commitment. They moved to Georgia. He committed to Georgia. Then on signing day, wound up having those heartstrings tugged on, and he goes back to what he would consider home right here at Nebraska.
First down and 10 at the 42. They throw it out wide to a wide open target. That's Barney. And Ja'Cory Barney with the burst. He can really play. A lot of talent for Ja'Cory Barney. Scored the only touchdown against Indiana last week.
And you have to know that if 17 is in the game, he's going to get the jet sweep. He's going to get the ball thrown to him right at the line of scrimmage on those little bubble screens on the outside. And that time Ohio State just not lined up. And that's something that they really stressed after that Oregon game, is they wanted to get their what they call cleats in the ground, get lined up so they can try to allow their elite playmakers to make plays.
Gain of 10, first and 10 at the Ohio State 32. Raiola, play fake. Pumps, looks long. Incomplete. No flags on the play. And it's Barney again, and Barney had turned one way and the ball was thrown the other way.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there by the two young players, and excellent coverage by Caleb Downs. He's been the constant back there, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. You know, Downs has been terrific for Ohio State. Watch number 2, and as Barney is trying to run this slot seam right down the seam, look at him just stay inside, and then he puts a little bit of a hand up there, and then he walls him off and doesn't allow him to get back to the ball.
Second and 10 at the 32. 2:40 to go, third quarter. Raiola lobs it. Sideline. Oh, he had a wide open receiver. Jamal Banks, wide open.
Oh, he's going to want that one back, because watch the route. They do a perfect job. They run a little bit of a pick right here, and they get the pick. There's the contact, hands up in the air, and then it's wide open, and Jamal Banks is going to walk into the end zone, and he just misses him. That goes back to that Illinois play. They beat Illinois if he just hits the tight end right down the middle, and he overthrows McKinnon. The Nebraska fans bury themselves with Sorinda Cobra.
Third down and 10 at the 32. Dowdell and running back. Raiola. And Raiola sacked again. He had no time. Ty Hamilton just crushed the pocket, and that's a loss of 7.
They bring more guys than they can block, so what do you have to do? You have to throw hot here. And watch on the outside, he's going to have a wide receiver that is looking inside. That's Barney. And that ball has got to come out. A mistake from the young quarterback there. He's got to throw that ball. There's not enough players to block all the blitzers.
So 4th and 17 now. Buschini will have to punt it. And he'll look to pin this one deep in Ohio State territory. Got to pop it in the air, and that's what he does. But it gets in the end zone anyway. At 3 men back there, couldn't keep it from going into the end zone.
Well, I tell you what, how about the answer on the last couple of series? Sorry, Gus, go ahead.
Coming up next on Fox, we've got more college football coming your way as Texas Tech kicks off against TCU in a Big 12 battle. Catch it all right here on Fox. Fort Worth should be rocking.
Those two programs do not like each other. It's one of those, like, quiet rivalries that we don't.
Southwest Conference days.
That's right.
My first major assignment as a sportscaster coming out of Howard, the Southwest Conference tour.
Here's
had
your
a chance to go through all those schools.
Second half possessions from Ryan Day in this offense have not been very good. The defense has done their job. A couple of short fields, and they've held up.
On first down, here's the running game with Henderson. Davion Henderson close to that first down. Ohio State 16 yards of offense on 3 possessions in the second half prior to that run.
Well, they've got to get some run game going. They've got to, and that's what you would assume from a Chip Kelly offense. And obviously Chip coming over from UCLA as the head coach. Now he's the coordinator here at Ohio State, and you would assume that their offense was going to be run-oriented, and they have been really until today. Today they just have not been able to get anything going on the ground.
Second down and 2 at the 28. Howard with the run. And it's Henderson. Stopped by Ty Robinson. 1 yard gain. There's Chip with the ripper. We covered Chip back during his days as the head coach at Oregon, then the Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco 49ers, UCLA. Wonderful coach. 3rd down and 1. And they will not get it. Unbelievable. Jimmy Butler. Make that Jamari Butler. First man to him, and Ohio State has to punt it again.
Well, here's the read. So Will Howard sees that the linebacker goes up and over the top. You see that linebacker there? So that's why he gives the ball, but the defensive end, Butler, had crashed down in there. If anything, that's got to be a throw read on the outside, but he hands the football off, no one to block the end or the linebacker, and it's a tackle for loss.
McGuire to punt from the 14. Garcia Castaneda back at his own 33.
I mean, this defense got over 200 yards put on them last week in the run game against Indiana.
5 rushing touchdowns for Indiana. Into the 3rd. We've got a ball game in Columbus. Ohio State, folks, on the ropes. Let's take a look at the scoring by quarters. Ohio State up 14-9. Interesting numbers there. Time of possession, Nebraska, 27 minutes and 12 seconds.
And Ohio State didn't make a first down in that 3rd quarter offensively.
Joe McGuire to punt it away. And here comes Dylan Raiola back onto the field for this Nebraska team. Your thoughts on what's taken place in this game thus far?
I really love the way that Nebraska has come out in the 3rd quarter, and they have stuck with their game plan. You know, defensively, Gus, after last week against Indiana, they told us that, like, listen, we were embarrassed. We want to make sure that we hang our hat on something, and that's stopping the run. We're not going to allow what happened last week to happen this week, and they've done that. They went and they fixed an issue, and Ohio State has not been able to run the football. Now it's incumbent on this offense to try to get creative and maybe create an explosive play.
First down from the 26, and here's an explosive play here. Down the sideline, Dowdell, and he tiptoes out of bounds. But another explosive play, this time for 19 yards.
Great block by Jamal Banks, number 4, from his wide receiver position. He came in, and he's able to get this block on the safety. That's Jordan Hancock, and Igbinosun was nowhere to be near, falling back in response as the corner. And it's a nice run for Nebraska to start the series.
Dowdell having a fine outing. 11 carries, 52 yards so far. First down from the 45. Raiola underneath, and it's caught by his tight end, Fedoni, and he'll dive forward and get inside the Ohio State 20.
I think, Gus, there's a flag way back at the beginning of this play. I think it's on Ohio State. It, to me, looked like a defensive holding up at the top of the screen.
Holding. Defense number 24. The penalties declined. The result of the play is a first down.
So that's on Jermaine Matthews, and he was working against Jamal Banks, number 4, away from the ball. But what happens at the ball, Caleb Downs ran into the official and got knocked off of Fedoni, and that's why Fedoni was wide open to be able to run down the field.
First down and 10, Nebraska. And Raiola, he's tripped up and taken down. Make that Harburg, who came in for Dylan Raiola, and he'll lose 3 yards.
That's similar to that Penn State type of offense when Drew Aller stays on the field and Bo Perbula comes in as kind of a runner. Raiola was still on the field as wide receiver. Harbaugh comes in to try to increase their run game efficiency, and you know what? They haven't needed that really, and then that one goes for a loss.
Second down and 13. And he'll run the end around. Barney. And Barney goes down at the 20, maybe the 19-yard line. Denzel Burke with the tackle. Gain of 7.
Here comes this massive down now. This young quarterback. They have struggled against the blitz Gus, on these third downs all day long, Ohio State bringing extra rushers. Last series, Raiola did not recognize that they had one extra blitzer than he could block. Did they send the house again?
3rd down and 6 at the 19-yard line. Dowdell in the backfield with Raiola. Here's Dylan Raiola looking underneath, caught, 1st down. That's a tight end, the big fella, doing it again. Fedoni, a gain of 8.
Beautiful job by Fedoni. Watch him just hook up right at the line to gain and in front of the defenders. Great job by your tight end, and Raiola was looking that way the whole time, found him. And Fedoni, I tell you what, he had a great game last week. I know they lost by 49, so no one wants to say, hey, you played great. But Fedoni really did, and now it's nervous time for the Buckeye fans here in the shoe. Fedoni had 6 catches, Gus, for 91 yards last week against Indiana. Coaches praised how hard he played all game long, and that was a huge catch on a 3rd down.
1st down and 10 at the 11. Nebraska can still get another 1st down. Raiola dancing, lobs it. Corner! Incomplete. Ja'Cory Barney was open. He broke open late. But Raiola just couldn't put it on him.
Just out of the reach, and we had an earlier one out of the reach for Jamal Banks, and you can tell Barney is just stretching out, trying to get that ball, and just overthrown. They had him. Ohio State is living in this man coverage on defense, and right now they're getting beat.
2nd and 10 at the 11. Dowdell remains in the game. He's been a punishing runner. They'll give it to him, breaks it back, and he'll get inside the 10 as he leans forward and gains 3 yards.
Well, I wonder how aggressive he's going to be here. Is this another 4-down territory? Why not? This is what I would say, Gus.
Yeah, no, you got to take the points.
I mean, do you?
Yes.
Can you guarantee me that you're going to get another possession and drive it down like this? Remember, this
the way
team,
Ohio State's been playing offensively, you'll get another shot. Take the points.
If they can get this ball inside the 5 and it's 4th down, I think they're going to go for it on 4th down.
3rd down and 7 at the 8. Here comes a blitz. Raiola underneath, caught, touchdown Nebraska. Whoa! Nair! And the Cornhuskers, after getting drilled 56-7 last week to Indiana, lead Ohio State 15-14. First lead of the day.
Gus, he's a quick learner. Raiola on the previous series didn't throw hot. Here, he sees that the extra rusher is coming for Ohio State. He backs away and he finds his hot receiver on the in-breaking route, and he throws a touchdown. That's what you've got to do to develop as a quarterback right there. You learn from your mistakes earlier in the game, and he was able to do that. Doesn't make the same mistake twice, and a beautiful job of just drifting away from the pressure as Downs is barreling down right through the middle of that offensive line, and he just drifts away and then throws the ball accurately on the outside. And now they will review this of whether he got in or not. So we are in an official review based on when that knee went down and where the ball was.
He did not get in, according to that picture.
Yeah, the shin puts him down, and the ball would be just short. But Gus, that is a 1st down. So it would be 1st and goal for Nebraska, as that shin right there would put you down. That's dead at that point.
Mike Pereira joins us. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, no, he is down. The shin get in real time. I thought clear touchdown. But
after further review, the runner's shin was down, and the ball was at the 1/4-yard line. That results in a 1st down. 1st down and goal, Nebraska.
So they take the points off the board. 14-9. 1st down and goal, Nebraska. Matt Rule trying to make a case. Quickly to the line of scrimmage. Power formation. Last man through. Now it's a touchdown. Dowdell. 9-play drive, covering 74 yards. Cornhuskers eat up over 4 minutes.
Great push by the offensive line. There's the big defensive tackle in the game. Number 9, Ty Robinson gets good push, and that's exactly where the running back, Dante Dowdell, goes up and over the top for a touchdown and the lead.
They keep the offense on the field. They're going for 2. Raiola, inside handoff, and it is a score. Shovel pass. Borkirker, 17-14 Nebraska. The Cornhuskers a quarter away from becoming bowl eligible for the first time in 7 seasons, and they're doing it against the number 4 team in the nation. On the road.
Ryan Day has never lost to an unranked opponent, and here Nebraska is fourth quarter lead over an AP top 5 team since that 2009 year. That was the Texas game in the Big 12 championship against the Colt McCoy Texas game. That's the Ndamukong Suh dominant defensive line game. Oh my goodness. What a performance by this Cornhusker team, right? Matt Rule, man. They lost by 49 last week. We called the game.
Yes, we
did.
There
was nothing that resembled what we're seeing here today. And in 1 week, they got it fixed, man. I tell you what, this has been an outstanding performance by that young quarterback, Dylan Raiola, and this entire Nebraska team.
Raiola, 18 of 27, 137 yards, a touchdown. No interceptions. He threw 3 interceptions and fumbled 1 away last week. 4 turnovers.
Pacific Life Game Summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for nearly 160 years. Well, it was the interception, earlier in this half by Malcolm Hartzog. Will Howard throws it right to him. They got a goal line stop, though. The Buckeyes did. They stopped him on 4th down. Their offense back on the field. Now, they did not get in, but the next time they were down there, they did get in. And Dowdell up and over the top, and Nebraska's got the 3-point lead here in the shoe in the 4th quarter.
Ohio State's offense had a 3rd quarter to forget. 4 possessions, 3 3-and-outs, and an interception. First down at the 25. Howard to throw it. Guns it. And he has his receiver, Carnell Tate. Tate crosses the 40, gets up to the 44. A 38-yard gain. Sierra Wright with the tackle.
What you're going to see here from Chip Kelly and Ryan Day is they're going to make, all right, enough messing around right now. We're going to go right back to what our bread and butter is. And right now, their bread and butter is going to be throwing the football. I expect them to try to help Zen Michalski in pass protection, number 65. They'll put a tight end or 2 over on that side. And then you find Jeremiah Smith, number 4. He's the best player on the field. He's got to touch the ball in this series.
First down and 10 at the 38-yard line. Inside handoff. Judkins hits the sideline and knocked out a play. Nice hard-hitting Deshaun Singleton. 3-yard gain.
And if you're Nebraska, you just don't change your game plan. You've been aggressive. Those 2 big defensive tackles have played really well for Tony White, the defensive coordinator. Nash Hutmaker, Ty Robinson, they've been in there in the middle, stopping the run all day long. Stick with what got you here and force Ohio State to play better on the back stretch of this game.
2nd and 7 at the 35. Judkins. And he's tripped up, almost broke free. Gains 3. Lenhart defensively for the Huskers. 9:17 and counting.
If they get, I would assume here, just thinking ahead, Gus, that this is also 4-down territory, not because you feel like you have to get a score, but because of the aggressive nature that Ryan has. If they gain positive yards here, I would imagine that the offense would stay on the field if they don't get a first down.
Henderson goes in motion out of the backfield, trips at the top of your screen. Ohio State won him
here. Quarterback run.
Here's Howard. He'll run it, and he won't get it. Nicely defended by Jamari Butler, but you said it might be 4-down territory.
Yeah, and especially now, because now you're in within a yard. Here's the look, and only 4 guys up front, and they get the look right there. Mahalski is able to mash his guy down, but a great adjustment by Jamari Butler to come out and get Will Howard short of that first down line. I tell you, I don't love this, though. Not from the shotgun. Put him up under center and just let him QB sneak. We saw a 4th and 1 fail earlier in the game because they didn't quarterback sneak.
He remains in the gun. 4th and 1. Howard sprints out, delivers, caught, and a first down. Emeka Egbuka.
And there's Mr. Reliable, right? Number 2.
You're in good hands. Don't we have a sponsor that says that all the time?
That's true.
It should be Emeka Egbuka.
I tell you, man, he is such a great player. Sets the tone in every area. Catches the ball incredibly well. He's a great blocker on the outside. Tremendous leader. And the best part about this, Gus, is he's even a better person than any of all that.
First down and 10 at the 26. Judkins in the backfield with Howard. Judkins, stutter step, gets through. And goes down, tumbles forward inside the 20. Buttmaker with the tackle. Gain of 7.
And a little life in the run game. Not much, right? But a little bit of life in the run game on this series from Quinshon Judkins and that offensive line. And give a lot of credit also to those tight ends. You know, G. Scott with a great block on that last play.
2nd and 3 at the 19. Judkins. No, it's Howard. And he'll dive forward, pick up the first down. A 10-yard gain for Howard.
Well, watch everybody just squeeze in from this defense, and Howard just alertly keeps the ball in the zone read. Everybody squeezes in, eyes on Judkins, and Howard keeps the ball. And there he is falling inside the 10-yard line.
Will Howard, a terrific runner. On the season, 77 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. First down and goal at the 9. Howard looking with time, delivers, caught, touchdown, Ohio State. Quinshon Judkins. And the Buckeyes all queued up. They take a 20-17 lead.
That's the matchup you want. Quinshon Judkins on the middle linebacker. Mekhi Bayer, number 42. And Bayer slipped and fell down, allowed Judkins to just roam freely into the end zone. And for the first time, really, all second half, Gus, there was no pressure. And the protection held up. And Matt Rule's defense couldn't get to Will Howard, and he had time to find the open receiver, which he did.
Quinshon Judkins with his first receiving touchdown of the year.
So here's Judkins, and watch, he's going to come and work against the linebacker, and then he's just going to kind of inside release on the linebacker. Does a nice job making him slip, and then see all the time he has to have like a kind of a double move from the running back position. You need time to throw the ball, and the offensive line finally providing some of that time for Will Howard and Judkins into the end zone.
And this is the reason for the delay. Injured Cornhusker is Hartzog, who had the interception.
He's played great this year too, Malcolm Hartzog. He's an experienced guy, came in with 25 starts already in his career. He was tied for second in the Big Ten already with his 3 interceptions. Now he's got 4 on the season. Terrific safety for them.
Jaden Fielding in for the extra point. And it's good. Will Howard, his 3rd touchdown pass of the day. 8-play drive covering 75 yards. They eat up 4:43. Ohio State back in front. For you folks, 6:04 to go. Buckeyes reclaim the lead, but Nebraska ready to receive the football. Jaden Fielding will kick it off. Quentin Ives is the deep man. And this one into the end zone for a touchback. Let's check in with Jenny.
And after that touchdown, a cool moment between Dylan Raiola and Dante Dowdell. He came over to him with a big smile on the bench and said, "How'd that feel? Let's go do it again." I've been so impressed by the body language on the sideline for Nebraska. Coach Rule told us his team would fight. And something Thomas Fedoni told me, today's not about proving everyone wrong. It's about proving ourselves right. We believe we can compete with the best, and we're seeing that on display.
All right, Jen. Thank you very much. 1st and 10 at the 25. Dowdell in the backfield. They'll give it to him on 1st down. And Dante Dowdell gained about 3 on the play. Jack Sawyer with the tackle.
Well, last series, their best series of the day, driving down and getting that touchdown. It started with some of those nice runs to get things going, and now under 6 minutes, you know, if you're Nebraska, you got to think about trying to be methodical here. You don't want to necessarily score too quickly, give the ball right back to Ohio State. You got to take your time.
2nd and 7, and this time Johnson is swarmed under JT Tuimoloau.
Well, now on a 3rd down, you get right back into this chess match. We've seen Ohio State on these crucial downs. Gus, what have they done? Bring pressure. And you've seen Raiola grow during the course of the game and answer that pressure. That's how they got their last touchdown. I wonder what Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, does here to try to put pressure on the young quarterback.
3rd and 7 at the 28. Raiola lets it go, and incomplete. No flags on the play. Raiola goes down hard in the backfield. He's coming off, grabbing his right shoulder. Barney, the intended target.
This is really good coverage by Lorenzo Styles, the Notre Dame transfer. Again, his brother Sonny is a linebacker, and he's right there, gets away with a little bit of a tug, but Barney's trying to run away from the man coverage, and there's the blitz and the pressure. There's Lorenzo Styles in coverage and Sonny Styles with the hit on Raiola, and he comes up grabbing at that right shoulder.
So Nebraska forced to punt it. 4:44 to go. Lucchini will send it away. Now Caleb Downs returning.
Prior to the ball being snapped, false start. Offense number 15. 5-yard penalty, it's still 4th down.
Gus, with them backed up like this, you know, even if you run into the kicker, it's like, okay, so what? It's 5 yards. They've had 3 punts blocked, Nebraska. That's the worst in the country. You know, is this the time to get after a punt here? I think that this might be a great time to try to rush the punter and send off your best punt block.
Lucchini inside his 10, no pressure. And it takes a Nebraska bounce and goes out of bounds. Around the 36, 41-yard punt. Ohio State with the football and the lead. 4:35 to go, ticket to the Big Ten championship. And that's the Indiana Hoosiers, who beat Washington today to remain undefeated. They'll have Michigan State next week in East Lansing. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Here's a handoff. Judkins won't get outside. He'll gain maybe 2 yards on the play. Deshaun Singleton with the tackle. Let's go downstairs to Jen.
Well, obviously a really good sign, Gus. Raiola out of the medical tent. They were evaluating that right shoulder. It almost appeared to be the joint area below the collarbone. He was in a significant amount of discomfort at first. He is back on the bench. He was doing some more film review. This guy is tough, and he wants to finish this one out.
All right. Dylan Raiola up and walking around. Looks good on the sideline. 21-17. He wants another opportunity. But Will Howard wants to deny him. He in the Ohio State offense. Handoff. Judkins. And he's met at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Jamari Butler again. And Nebraska will call a timeout.
I think we got an injured Buckeye. I believe that's the left tackle, Zen Mahalski, number 65.
He's the replacement for Simmons.
Where's my guys inside?
Well, that brings up all sorts of questions now about the offensive line and how they would try to shift around in terms of lineup if Zen Mahalski is out, which he's in a decent amount of pain there on the far side. You wonder if Donovan Jackson, the left guard, will actually kick out to tackle, and Austin Saraveld may come in at left guard. We'll have to see how they're going to rotate.
And unlike previous years, the two teams that go to the Big Ten championship, it's a different scenario this year.
Yeah, there's obviously no divisions. So now it'll just be the best two teams in the conference by record. And you can say that the two teams that do well, there's a few that control their own destiny. Obviously Indiana controls their own destiny. Oregon controls their own destiny. Penn State would also. The issue, though, is that there is a situation, and I know Buckeye fans won't want to hear this. Oregon, Indiana, and Penn State could wind up all undefeated because they don't play each other. So Ohio State wins out. They would be in the Big Ten championship game with wins over Indiana and Penn State. So a lot to play out here in the last month of the season.
I love it, though. Top two teams go.
Yeah, me too, obviously, and that's going to make that game incredible in Indianapolis. And
Mahalski has to be helped off the field. That's a terrible sign for the Bucks.
An already thin offensive line will be down even more. Looks like that's Luke Montgomery, 51, into the ball game. Like Shabola will be in there. Fryer will be in there. There's Luke Montgomery, 51. Looks like he's going to go in at guard the way that they're lined up in the huddle, and that looks like Jackson will bump out. Donovan Jackson, the All-American guard, will go out to tackle. He has played a few snaps over the last couple of games. He's gotten in a little over 20 snaps in his last few games, Luke Montgomery. But boy, what a huge moment here. 4-point game, fourth quarter, under 4 to play.
We will see. As a wise man once said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. We'll see if Montgomery's ready. 3rd down and 9 at the 38. Empty backfield. Howard, quick toss out wide. And Henderson, no place to go. Javen Wright dropped him on the spot, and the fans don't like it. A loss of 7.
If you don't have linebackers in the game and you motion out like this, look, there is nowhere to throw it on the right side. You can run that football straight up the middle. If you go to empty, you have to be able to check to the quarterback run. Because if there's no second level, Gus, you can run the quarterback, and they don't do it there. That's a planned throw right away, I believe, to protect their new offensive line.
Timeout called by Nebraska on 4th and 16. Raiola ready to come into the game.
I believe that was a play called to protect what was going on up front. Jackson, new position. Luke Montgomery in the game. Just get the ball out of the hands of your quarterback right away and rely on your defense. But to me, man, there's got to be a check for the quarterback draw.
Joe McGuire will punt from his own 16. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda is the deep man at the 30. Signals with a fair catch and has it at the 24. A 45-yard punt. Last night, Freddie Freeman's walk-off grand slam lit up L.A. as the Dodgers grabbed the opening game of the World Series in historic fashion. Judge and the Yankees will look to bounce back tonight in Game 2 at 7 Eastern on Fox. .336 to go. 21-17. Nebraska with the football. Raiola lobs it up. Over the shoulder, caught, and a flag. Banks.
This one likely goes against the offense. Banks, two-hand chest push to get that space away from the corner.
Pass interference. Offense number 4. 15-yard penalty. Still first down.
They've been getting after it all day long. Here's Igbinosun again. Good release by Banks. You see right there, he gives that just that right arm that he gives a big. And if you extend as an offensive player and extend and create separation with an extension of your arm, that's what's going to invite the flag.
First down and 22. Not one empty seat in this building. Everybody has stayed. Raiola over the middle. Caught. Loose. Buckeyes say they have it. Banks with the catch, but did he hold it long enough? Flag on the play. Reese with the hit to dislodge the football.
And there is a flag. That flag came in. They're going to discuss targeting right now. Because Banks was considered defenseless, any forcible contact to the head or neck area.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Personal foul, targeting. The defense on the 23. That penalty is under further review.
So as he's trying to complete the process of the catch, he's deemed defenseless. Any contact to the head or neck area does not have to be Arvell Reese's helmet or the crown of his helmet. Any part of his body forcibly contacts with the head or neck area is a targeting by the rule.
Mike Pereira joins us. Michael.
Yeah, Joel is right on top of this. So you're talking about still a defenseless receiver here. So you're talking about contact of the head or neck area with your helmet, shoulder, forearm, and it's the shoulder here that comes into play. So that's what they'll be looking at. They'll also be looking at the catch part. Did he have it long enough to have a catch and a fumble, which I don't think he does. It always looks like it is in slow motion. But you're looking at shoulder to the head for the targeting aspect of the play.
Mike, what do you think? Is this going to be deemed forcible? Is this enough?
I think the only element here, Joel, is he attacking with the shoulder? I mean, it's almost to me like he's braced a little bit. And again, you have to have an indicator. And as we all know now, you have to prove that it actually is targeting. As I look at it so many times, I wish that it's not, because I don't see him really driving that shoulder in there, but you do have that contact, and it's one of those that's close.
You know how I always feel? I always feel like if the intent is not there, but I understand the letter of the law, Mike. I think that this is a really difficult one because you're right. He doesn't have the indicator. He's not launching. He's bracing right there, and then the momentum creates contact. That contact is high to the head or neck. Is it forcible with indicators? Man, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he is driving forward a bit, but again, then this is the decision that has to be made. And, targeting one every 5.5 games, you're having targeting calls that lead to a disqualification of a player. I think the message has been sent here, and these ones that are so close, and look at how long they're looking at it. And then the other thing they're looking at too is the catch fumble.
Yeah.
Did he get control? Did he have a foot down? And did he have it long enough? If that part is there, then even if you stay with targeting, then the element changes of the enforcement.
Yeah, and how long they're under the hood right now. I mean, Mike, I think that they're actually looking at this more for the fumble aspect at this point, because right there, it's a clear recovery in the immediate action.
So then, though, if they stay with targeting, then where do you enforce the targeting from? Then you're going to enforce it from the spot of the fumble, and Nebraska will keep the ball.
After further review, it was determined that it was a catch. Targeting number 20 defense, he is disqualified from the ball game. The 15-yard penalty is worse than the spot of the fumble. Nebraska football, first down and 10.
Michael, thank you very much.
And now there's another flag. So now this is going to be marked off from the catch point. And then now another flag has come out. This flag is going to be on Ryan Day. This is going to be a personal foul right now.
Sideline warning, Ohio State.
They'll just give him a warning. And then this is what I was fearing from last week, is that now you're getting water bottles thrown from the stands as Ryan Day chucked his headset down, and we'll get a warning on that side. And as soon as the water bottles come out, now the officials will pull the players away from the sideline. What a mess. Arvell Reese is disqualified, which means that he will be out for the first half next week against Penn State. Reserve linebacker.
And Mike, you're still with us. Your thoughts on what's going on right now?
Yeah, Ryan Day is lucky that he doesn't have a 15-yard penalty associated with this, because sideline warning is when people interfere with you, players or coaches interfere with you in the white. But if you come out on the field, and voice your displeasure like he did and throw the headset, that should be an unsportsmanlike conduct, which would add another 15. This is just a no penalties because it was his first sideline warning, but he catches a break here. You can't be out on the field and do this.
I think
this has happened before.
I think that what they're saying is that everyone was out on the field, right? Because they're in a huddle right there with the review mic. So maybe that's why he just gets a warning, because you're right. If you're on the field like that, you're going to get a personal foul, which is why that's kind of how I explained it right before the call. But lost in all of this is now the field position. Because of catch and fumble, now the field position, you're all the way on the other side of the 45-yard line, close to the 50-yard line for Nebraska with only 3:14 left. It's a 4-point game. I tell you, man, this is wild. You think back to the end of that first half. Remember the end of that first half, and it was mismanaged a little bit by the officials, and Nebraska was actually to overcome, and they got 3 points out of the end of the half.
Fans not happy. But Nebraska will take it. First down and 10 at the 46. Dowdell in the backfield with Raiola.
Prior to the ball being snapped, false start. Offense number 51. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's the left guard, Justin Evans.
Got to lean on your most successful players here. Barney is who you got to get the ball to on the outside. And if you're throwing the football in particular over the middle, I think it's got to be Fedoni. And then always your matchups. And your matchups, Nair against Denzel Burke has been good.
First down at 15. And nothing doing. Cody Simon standing right on the play. I don't know what kind of call that was. Looks like it was a middle screen, a loss of 3.
It didn't look like the offensive line got that message, though, right? Memo lost on the offensive line, and Cody Simon was right there to stop that play before it could get started for Emmett Johnson. Great job by Cody Simon. Watch him. He just reads it right away, and he's right in the face of Johnson as he can't even turn and get upfield.
2nd and 18. Approaching the 2-minute timeout. May not get it off in time. And they didn't. That brings us to the 2-minute timeout. 21-17 Ohio State. Nebraska with the football. To win the Heisman Trophy that year. 2nd down and 18 at the 38-yard line for young Dylan Raiola, 19 years old, a true freshman. He's got Emmett Johnson with him in the backfield. 2 minutes to go, down 21-17. Raiola flips it out. He's got his man, Johnson, but he's dragged down immediately by Cody Simon. A loss of 1.
What a series for Cody Simon. My goodness, here he is right here in the middle of the defense, and he just reacts with the back. That's man coverage, and he's out before Emmett Johnson can do anything. So they tried the screen. Cody Simon is there. They tried the little flare out with the back, and Cody Simon is there.
3rd down and 19.
4-down territory, Gus. They can't punt the ball away.
Raiola looking. Raiola over the middle and intercepted. Davison. No, make that Jordan Hancock with the interception. With 1:16 to go.
He didn't have to get all of it, but he went for all of it. Here's the seam from Nair, but there's Jordan Hancock just waiting for this one, and he throws it right to him. Thought he was going to try to bend in that seam from Nair. Nair straightens up because of Hancock sitting in the middle of the field, and that is an easy interception for the senior. And it looks like the Buckeyes are going to escape, and they will.
Ohio State, their defense today, 2 interceptions to go with 13 tackles for loss. Raiola, 21 of 32, 152, a touchdown and an interception. So it looks like the Buckeyes will survive. They'll take on Penn State next week in Happy Valley.
Boy, I tell you what, the defense was under some serious heat for 2 straight weeks, Gus, after the performance against Oregon. And I know it wasn't all pretty today, but the defense answered when they needed it. They got 3 sacks, those tackles for loss that you mentioned, the turnovers that they needed to get. And they showed up in the biggest moments. They also got that 4th down stop inside the 5-yard line, and how big is that? And so this Buckeye defense pulling their weight here today.
Nebraska denied their bowl eligibility once again. Next week, though, they have a chance at home against UCLA.
Well, they're going to have to go back and learn from this one. I tell you, the amount of improvement from last week to this week was staggering. Defensively, even offensively. And every week I see that Dylan Raiola grows. And Gus, are there mistakes? Yes. You know why? He's a true freshman. This is things that he's seeing for the very first time. That's his first time that he's had a 3rd down, when in the back of his mind he's got to know he's got 2 to get the first. He doesn't have to force it. He won't make that mistake again. This kid is a smart kid. He's a talented kid. What a good, gutsy performance from him and his teammates.
So the Buckeyes will defeat Nebraska 21-17 Nail biter for Ohio State fans. But after they went down to Nebraska, I love the way Will Howard led him straight down the field and into the end zone for a touchdown.
I'll tell you, they needed it badly, and Will played. He had the one interception, but Will played very well, and they kept all of their hopes and dreams still alive.